we're already familiar with Wilson's particular style. He's very combative. I think you already guys have um, noticed the way that he speaks over people before they can make their point. Um, we also saw the thing with Natty, and the other thing is that Uncle Tom is not a co-host anymore. Okay, so we have
He's back.
Marte,
He's back.
we have Marte as a co-host, and I think that we combine. I mean, with the combination of Wilson's aggressive style and the fact that he has like already two co-hosts that vouch.
Oh, you're just complaining. So do you want to be co-host, Valerie? If you're co-host, can you go to raising your hand and be in good faith and answering questions? It's fine. Do you want to be co-host? Is that going to make you happy, or what do you want? How do you want to stack the odds? Like, Marte hasn't said anything. All that's taken place so far is you made claims against Andrew that you haven't been able to substantiate. He asked you a few questions, and that you just haven't answered. That's literally all that's happened. And by the way, several hundred people have seen this take place. So
I'm not trying to stack the odds. I think you both know that this is a very curious state of affairs. Again, combining Wilson's style and the fact that he constantly interrupts and he doesn't let people finish, and that you also love to mute the space and you love to talk over people. So yeah, I have like about a 45 minutes, but yeah, if you want to give me co-host, if
okay.
my phone doesn't explode, yeah, sure.
So yeah. So let me say something on this. So here's what happens. I don't have a combative style. What happens is I don't let people run away when I ask them a question and they don't answer the question I asked them. They answer a different question. It's a form of filibustering and monologuing. I asked her a question which was specific to my worldview about Christian ethics. She refused to answer it, while at the same time saying that I held an inconsistent standard. How can you say I hold an inconsistent standard but won't ask or answer a single question about the standard I hold? That's bullshit. That's bullshit obfuscation. It's bullshit filibustering. You're damn right I'm going to cut you off and make you answer the actual question I asked you. And so in the future, just do that. I'll listen patiently to your answers, but don't bullshit me by giving me answers to questions I didn't ask you. I'm not interested in your monologues or your feelings. I'm interested in the answers to the questions I actually asked.
So we got hands Teriak and then Natty.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see like these women tried to call out Andrew when they were literally calling his wife a whore, and then expect him just to sit there and just be like a little nice boy. Makes no sense. The main kind of point that like Natty was saying, which like is just make no sense. I'm not even Christian, and I have like 4 different quotes here from the Bible, from Ephesians: "Wives, submit your own husbands as to the Lord." Colossians: "Wives, submit your husbands as is fitting to the Lord." Peter: "Likewise, wives, be subject to your own husbands." Titus: "Train the young women to love their husbands and children, be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind and submissive to her own husband." So in multiple areas of the Bible, it says for a woman to be submissive to her husband. But what I think happens is like they see like Andrew Tate and they get mixed up with the last names because like they're both called Andrew, and then they instantly, because like the whole kind of like diatribe that comes out is like, oh, he'd be shamed if he went on one of these podcasts, one of these red pill podcasts where Andrew literally called Myron out for one of his prescriptions with the 50 women on live, like right in front of his face, destroyed that worldview. And since now, Myron has stopped using that. So this whole thing that like Andrew's like one of these like red pillars or manosphere things, it's just comical because all you're doing is just projecting your own shit onto Andrew.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Teriak. So from the space is titled Net Negative. Is Andrew a net negative? So we got a lot of people requesting, so we're not going to accept anybody who's actually feels that Andrew's a net positive. It's only if he's a net negative. You want to speak your piece, we're going to settle this now. Natty, you got your hand up. Necro, I don't think you have any criticisms of Andrew, but if you want, then you can go next.
Before you bring Natty up, and I'm happy to engage with her, I am going to preface this though by saying that Natty, the reason she hates me so much, she was peddling a conspiracy theory that I was in cahoots with some fucking guy who I don't know, all right, and have never even had a conversation with once. and she peddled a conspiracy theory to an entire space. I don't know, what was this guy's name? I don't remember his name.
Peter
Wright.
Peter Wright Anderson.
Yeah, there we go. That I was in cahoots with him, and that I was trying to pass some time. And when I asked her for the evidence of this, she promised that she would provide said evidence, and she would provide it soon. To date, she has never provided this evidence, and all of this spurging by Natty is always just her trying to obfuscate from the fact that she made wild fucking accusations, and to this day has not backed up a single one of them with any form of evidence whatsoever. And so my only question to Natty before you bring her up is, where's the fucking evidence, Natty? Or will you at least publicly apologize that you made those ridiculous statements about me?
Go ahead, Natty.
Right.
Fucking apologize to him.
Would you like me to answer the question now, Uncle Strawman, man?
Yeah, you had your hand up. You're next. So go ahead.
All right, no problem. Yeah, so Andrew, I did a space with Dean Esme, who is also an ex-men's rights activist like I am. And we went through the evidence that we have that Rachel was being mentored and influenced by Peter Wright, and that because you agree with her perspective, therefore you are complicit. I did not claim.
Okay,
what's
the evidence?
Do not interrupt.
I'm just asking, what's the evidence for her?
Guys, I'm not being interrupted when
You made the accusation. Give us the evidence, bitch.
Let me finish what I'm.
Where's the evidence?
Give us the fucking evidence, bitch.
There you go. Look.
Yeah, I do like the humor, so I want to keep. If you have humor outburst, you're more than welcome to. But I do want to have see where this goes. So, Natty, continue.
Okay, again, let me clarify one more time. Rachel, Peter Wright, was a Patreon of Rachel's, and they had an extensive conversation on the Patreon, which was public for those who are also patrons. Okay. And then it also had inference in that conversation that she has been talking to him and he has gone back and forth with her and influenced her positioning on the worldview that the West is gynocentric and used for her book. Now, at the time, I said to you, I'm happy to have a debate or discussion with you about this again. And then I had...
You were in cahoots with Peter Wright, and I got a comic to prove it, bitch. How do you counter that?
Anyway.
Yeah, Necro, chill, bro. So I got to move you down, bro. Sorry, man.
Anyway, so I did a space with Dean Esme where we went into detail about Dean's evidence regarding this. Okay, and it's a pinned tweet on my account, and I even went back to say, hey, Andrew, I'm ready to talk to you about this now with this evidence, and I was blocked by both him and Rachel. So he is a fat liar. What he's just said is a lie, that I did not provide any evidence, because when I went to go and speak to him about it, I was blocked. Okay? So my perspective...
All right. I think you landed your plane, didn't you? Andrew, can you respond to this? She says there's evidence of some kind.
Well, it's on my account. If he wants to listen to the interview with Dean, he can do that. He even has screenshots of her talking to Peter Wright. Yeah? And why did you block me, Andrew, after that conversation? You were like, oh, when you bring the evidence, I'll talk to you again. But then you blocked me because you're a little bitch.
So is it my turn to respond now?
Absolutely.
Sounds like it.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you got blocked because I tried to set up a second debate with you. And you said maybe in months when I have the deck stacked. Why are you interrupting?
Yeah. Sorry to mute you, Andrew. Natty, if you interrupt, I got to move you down. Sorry. You went on a long rant. Andrew's got to be able to defend.
Natty, control yourself.
Oh, Andrew, don't fucking lie.
She just can't control herself.
Oh, Andrew,
so anyway.
Andrew, don't fucking lie.
Look, I'm just not allowed to say a word. Yeah, not allowed to say a word. So anyway, So before whatever you're talking about happened, were you blocked before or after, Natty?
We had that conversation where you jumped in my space spontaneously, and you were blocked after. I mean, you blocked me afterwards.
No. That's not what I asked you. I asked you before you presented this so-called evidence, were you blocked before or after?
I didn't even have a chance to say to you I have the evidence because you had already blocked me.
Okay, so you were blocked before. Got it. So then when you just lied your fucking ass off and
No, I
said
didn't lie
that
about
blocked you.
anything.
Hang on,
I
Natty,
didn't lie
Natty, my
about
turn, Natty.
anything.
Natty, my
No,
turn, Natty.
no,
My turn,
Andrew,
Natty.
Andrew, Andrew,
Natty,
Andrew,
Natty,
Andrew, Andrew,
Natty,
Andrew,
it's my
Andrew.
turn, Natty.
You're a fundamentalist pretending to be orthodox, Andrew.
Are you why won't you let me respond? I didn't interrupt you at all.
Go ahead,
So
Andrew.
either
Natty,
way,
you can come.
yes.
You can come back up. Request
So
a mic, Natty, if you can behave.
So here's the very first lie. The very first lie is that, and you heard her all claim it, that she had a bunch of evidence. And it was because she had a bunch of this so called evidence that I blocked her. Come to find out, of course, she was blocked long before that. And it was based on the fact that I wanted to follow up debate and she wouldn't give it to me because I was continuing to ask her for this evidence. Now, as I scroll through, you ready for her massive fucking truth bomb of evidence? She had a conversation once with this guy publicly. My God. That means that she must be a disciple. And it got her entire view of gynocentrism from whoever said guy is, right? Whatever that means. These people are fucking nutcases. She just got caught in a lie. It was an easy lie to catch her in. And by the way, this so called evidence that she has is, oh, one time on a Patreon publicly, they talked. And did you guys see the conversation they had? It was like, it wasn't even long. Like these people are conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearing lunatics. And her entire vendetta and agenda against me, a baptized Orthodox Christian in good standing with the church, by the way, Natty, is just what? Is just that, well, you know, I really don't like this guy, Peter Wright, and I don't like any of his views. And I tried to tie Andrew and Rachel in with his views and couldn't provide any evidence of this supposed discipleship nor mentorship, which is what her accusations were. He mentored us and we were his disciples. Those were her actual accusations. Not that Rachel, one time on a Patreon, might have had a back and forth with this guy. And who the fuck knows if she even knew who the guy was? How would we even know that? You know how many random fucking people contact us from the Red Pill community? I have no fucking clue who these people are. So these, again, just lie after lie after lie from this chick. Most of you fuckers, honestly, most of my critics, most of you, just fucking lie. Like you don't even know what the context for 90% of the things I say are, and even when you're corrected, you still lie. Like I can give you demonstrable evidence of your falsehoods, and you will still fucking lie. Because once you guys get bogged down and you get embedded in a position, you feel like backing off of it is going to make you lose face when the opposite is true. You could just be like, fuck, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, man. And that would be the end of it. You think that I'm the one who's prideful and an egomaniac. It's like imagine having tens of thousands of people who lie about you every day. Like, yeah, I'm sure that would be enough to irritate anybody. So
So Natty, can you go into why you think he's a net negative? You got the mic again. I'm gonna have to rotate some speakers. We got a lot of people requesting. This is only why you think Andrew's net negative for society. So that's it. So
I would like to respond to everything that came to what he just said first. I'll do it quickly.
We're not doing he said, she said. It's enough. You made your argument. The audience can decide for themselves. Andrew responded. That's it. How about just agree to like he's debating you now. So if you want that debate you were asking for or whatever it was, then
yeah, absolutely.
okay.
I would love.
Why is he a net negative? Why is he a net negative?
Okay. Well, he's a net negative because him and his wife are promoting a conspiracy theory, by the way, that the West is gynocentric, which is based on an anti-Christian worldview. It's subversive in nature. It's historically inaccurate. And it's by a guy called Peter Wright, who acts in a Machiavellian manner and goes around behind the scenes talking to people who come out responding to the Manosphere Red Pill culture war talking points. He's done this with Pearl Davies. He's done this with others like that. And then when they don't actually promote things that he likes, he gets his troll army to try and misrepresent them. And I have evidence for that, which I could go into another time. The fact that Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson don't even realize that they're peddling something that is a particularly subversive worldview, and he doesn't even get that, yeah, maybe this man did not have much interference in their personal lives, but he has had interaction, or at least his wife has had significant interaction with him. In fact, she does know who he is, because when she was talking to him about this, he made it very clear that he is the author of this perspective. Okay. Now, this perspective that the West is women-centered at the expense of men is based on a view that, culturally speaking, in the past, women were expected to be like the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary was placed on a pedestal above others because she was viewed as sinless. And she was also used as some kind of stand-in during feudalism, when feudalism became about respecting women instead of being code of conduct of behavior. And he tries to claim that this was some kind of conspiracy by a group. And I'm making the point, thank you. You didn't give me a time limit. So do you want to give me a time limit now?
No, just
all right.
keep going.
I'm going to finish. I'm going to land it now. Thank you. Okay. So, and then he says, right, that men were expected to be Christ-like, and this made them become simps and white knights for women. And that was what the background was in going up back to the medieval period. And then when we had egalitarianism and feminism came along and tried to make sure that women still had the privileges they had from the past. And it was not fair to expect men to be Christ-like. This is theologically inaccurate. And I actually had my priest read over Peter Wright's works and his essays, and he wrote me an essay in response, but completely calling out the nonsense that it is. I also have a spiritual advisor who is a nun who used to be in a monastery in Crete, who's very senior in the UK and has an influence in her church, and teaches at seminary, who also understood exactly what I was talking about when I went over this with her. So if we're talking about who has the blessing to talk on the internet about these things, I would say I'm also in that category. So Andrew is a net negative, because if he is receiving guidance from Father Trenham, his views regarding gender, which I've examined myself, are more from the lens of a Protestant fundamentalist perspective, which takes scripture out of context. So it takes some of the scripture that Tarek mentioned earlier. There's loads of stuff in there. Like, I have never said anything against submitting to your husband in the Lord, right? But when you actually put that in line with everything else and the whole of the church, of what the church teaches, okay, then it also says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. Well, what did Christ do for the church? He died for the church. Adam's will, okay, he ate the fruit willfully, and his will is what needs healing first in man. So he's leading by redemption. The woman being under him, which the Protestant fundamentalists like to go on and on about, is a consequence of the fall. It's not something to do with the fact that, oh, he was some kind of superior being. They have an equal nature. And when they're in Christ, they're supposed to be in Christ and be Christ-like. Their natures are fulfilled in that way, right? And I could go into an Orthodox theologian's teaching about how the genders should be, which I won't go on about now because I'm trying to land the plane, okay? But that it's not.
Maddie, but you do get there's different gynocentric theories, right?
No, there isn't actually. So that's my argument.
Okay. So this conversation has gone to retard mode again.
No, it hasn't.
Andrew,
Women.
all right, Andrew, do you want to respond? Double mute.
Andrew lied about the fact that about the blocking thing.
Oh, Jesus. Andrew, it's your turn, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm not. Yeah. So she'll just filibuster forever. So it sounds like she should name a space why Peter Wright is bad for society, because all of her ranting and raving seem to have to do with this guy and very little of it to do with me. So how she seems to want to like
You're
kind of
welcome to
net,
by him,
net.
you dumbass.
I don't know. I don't know why you're still talking.
I was
I
a
didn't
joke.
interrupt you at all.
We're
Didn't
allowed to say
interrupt
jokes.
you.
Remember?
I didn't interrupt you at all. Go stuff your
That was a
face with
joke.
something
That
for a
was a
minute
joke.
while I
You're not
talk.
supposed
Go
to take
stuff
it
your face for a
personally.
minute while I talk, Maddie. Calm down. Calm down, Maddie.
That was a joke.
Maddie.
When Uncle Tom said we're allowed
Oh my
outbursts to
God.
say, so, you know.
Okay, can you stop talking? Your whole criticism is Andrew interrupts, and then I can't get 2 words in without you interrupting.
So we would,
When I
but then
patiently,
we
when I
changed it. So we're
patiently,
allowed to say, so, okay.
I literally patiently listened to everything you had to say, but you won't do me the same service. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's what the space should be called. She should call it "Why I Think Peter Wright is Bad for Society," which is fine. I don't know this guy from Adam, and I don't give a shit about him. Doesn't mean anything to me. I have no idea who this guy is. I don't think I've ever talked to him, or if I have, I didn't know I was talking to him. So the thing
The
is that oh
The
my
White
God,
House.
shut the fuck, oh fucking
Oh my
shut
God,
up,
that was a
Natty.
joke. It was a joke.
Oh, Natty, come on. That's your last warning. Andrew's got a
I'm
chance.
sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize, Uncle Tom. I'm quiet now.
Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead. Maybe you're double muted. Andrew, go ahead.
Andrew doesn't know who his wife talks to, by the way.
Andrew,
Why is
can you hear?
his wife?
Wait,
Look,
Daddy, that's
look,
supposed to be a
look, if
diss.
you guys,
There's a humor,
look,
my
It's not very.
look, it's
comfortable, is
fine.
it?
It's listen, it's fine. If I'm not allowed to speak in the space, I'm not allowed to speak in the space.
No, definitely. Go
There's
ahead.
nothing I can do about that.
No, I can
Oh,
mute you out.
So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah,
You just out
just
for jokes.
yeah,
I just, you know,
just
whatever.
yeah. I don't know why you say you hold this standard to me that you won't apply to yourself. I don't get that. So anyway, this whole thing was an attempt, by the way, to filibuster my thought process, but I'll just go right back into it. So that's what the space should have been named. Why I Hate Peter Wright is what she actually meant for this to be, or whatever whoever this fucking guy is. She goes on and on and on about how he ties in something to negative theology, which is fine. Maybe he does. I have no fucking clue. And I don't give a shit because he's not me. Has nothing to do with me, has never had anything to do with me. My views on ontology, the nature of men and women, have been public for a long, long, long time. And I'm sure that they have long before any such message between Peter Wright and Rachel happened on some fucking public Patreon page, right? So the thing is like all of this is guilt by association. This is just Natty trying to create guilt by association. This guy holds these views. These views are wrong and unorthodox. Therefore, Andrew must hold these views, which are unorthodox. But she hasn't shown me where I hold these views. I've told her before when I say gynocentric, she's using a word concept fallacy. I have a different case use for this word. She just says that that's not possible. She's just like, nope, it's not possible. Anytime you say anything about the word gynocentrism, which to me just means that you're holding men to an unfair standard in comparison to women, right? By focusing on the weaknesses of women and the strengths of men, rather than in the reverse, that there's also weaknesses of men and strengths to women. So this is the parallel in society. And yeah, I do rage about that quite a bit. But that has nothing to do with what her idea here is of gynocentrism, where it's tied into a theological lens based on Protestant nonsense. She also makes the crazy ass case here that if you're being spiritually guided by this priest, I have one spiritual father, Natty, one, and it's not any of the people that you mentioned, and I don't even think I've talked to any of the people you've mentioned. So I don't know why you think that I'm gleaning my views from these people. It's because you hate this guy and you want me to be him or in some way tied in with him. Your evidence is dog shit, god awful nonsense. And you haven't actually been able to tie how I hold the same view that this guy holds. Even if it were the case, let's just say hypothetically, that I talk to this guy every single day and he's like my bestest buddy in the world. Even if that were the case, you would still have to show how my views align with his views. That's what you would have to show. And I would want the demonstration of that. So go ahead and do that. Do that part of it.
Natty, sounds like he engaged you directly, so you can go ahead. By the way, just to reset the space, I got the nest here. It says Andrew's net negative. Go ahead and comment in there if you think he's a net negative. That way I can know to give you a mic. Anyone who thinks he's a net negative, I'll give you a mic. Natty, go ahead and respond.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so the reason why I say it's not possible for you to have a different definition regarding the gynocentrism worldview is because what you said your definition of gynocentrism is pretty much falls under what Peter Wright's extended definition is. And he's the one who popularized the term in the first place. In fact, the only reason that you know about the term is because Peter Wright did the work to promote it. And the manosphere and the red pill and the entire culture war on the right-wing side knows about it because of this man. Okay? I don't even think you understand. It's a little bit how you'll hear Karl Marx's theories used in different places, right? Marxism, for example, is a very similar thing there. And then you also have the same thing in regards to, say, patriarchy theory from feminist theory. Okay, very interesting thing that happens is feminist, calling a woman a feminist now is a pejorative, right? Now, if I talk about the definition of patriarchy being the rule of men or the rule of fathers, okay, and I don't talk about it as a kind of from a more Marxist or traditionally feminist analysis of power dynamics, yeah. And then I will say, well, actually, there is a basic definition of that. And then they extended the definition, right? And then other people go, well, you're still a feminist anyway because you're talking about patriarchy. And I'm like, okay, all right, now I know that you're retarded and that you don't understand that some people may have changed the definition of a word, which is quite often used when you're trying to subvert or propagandize. Now, when it comes to gynocentrism, however, the only person that popularized that term in the current context that we're in was Peter Wright. He took the term, this most basic, right, and expanded it. And this claim that the West is gynocentric.
Now, do you realize 350 people are in the space to listen to Andrew, right? He's bringing all the numbers in, not you. So can you let him speak, please? We're here to listen to him.
My love.
All right, Natty, we keep having to put you to listener, so I might have to do that again. Yeah. And Andrew, I think you'll like this comment that we got. Somebody should make a space about Natty being a net negative. So I think you'd find that pretty funny.
I'll do that space in 30 minutes.
Yeah, so here, let me,
Natty, shut up, Natty.
let me respond to this.
Gynocentrism has been used since 1897. Just FYI. The word gynocentrism.
Yeah. So anyway, most of what Rachel's writing about would come from these older terms of courtly love, which scholars have been investigating since the 1800s. So I don't know what the fuck Natty's even talking about. She's once again trying to draw some kind of loose conclusion because she's obsessed with this guy, fucking Peter Wright. Has nothing again. Did you notice how she didn't actually attack any of my views? She spent all of her time attacking Peter Wright's views. Not my views, not Andrew Wilson's views, but Peter Wright's views. She doesn't say, Andrew says this, and this is what I disagree with. If she did that, I would have something to respond to. But instead, she just consistently says, this other guy over here has this set of beliefs that I disagree with. And then, therefore, Andrew also has this set of beliefs which I disagree with, even though I'm actually here to defend my beliefs directly. So that's what's insane to me, right? Not only that, she also draws even more insane conclusions. Notice that she tried to draw parallels with like there being spiritual fathers who we don't have, right? Who somehow are involved with us as well. All of these things, which if she just asked, I would just tell her. You know, that's the funniest part, right? You could just ask me and I would just fucking tell you. Like if this guy was awesome and I knew who the fuck he was and I loved his stuff and I thought it was great, I would literally just tell you that shit. I'd be like, this guy's great. I completely agree with him. Here's a defense of what he's saying. The reason I'm not doing any of that is because I don't fucking know anything about him. I don't know the guy. I've never known the guy. Right? And she makes the most bizarre claim, which is that you can't have a proprietary definition to a made up fucking ass word like gynocentrism. Why can't you have a proprietary definition for these words? All I would ever need to do is show that I ever used this word before I ever could have met this guy, and I guarantee you I probably have, to disprove this entire fucking thing. The whole thing would be debunked. And it's like, again, so Andrew can't have a proprietary definition of a completely made up fucking term like gynocentrism. That's one. Two, she's still raging about some other guy's fucking worldview and not my own, which is two. And three, she keeps trying to tie me in as though somehow this guy, who she's never demonstrated I've had any contact with, let alone was a disciple of, influenced my worldview at all. Has nothing at all to do with that. Now, it would actually be easier for her to show the demonstration that I align with the worldview by attacking the portions of my worldview that she believes that I hold. And then we could get to the bottom of it that way. But she doesn't do that. She just continuously goes on about Peter Wright. And it's like, I don't care about I don't care about this guy, Natty. I don't give a shit about him. What do you have to say to me about my worldview? Not Peter Wright. I don't want to hear another word about Peter Wright. Tell me what Andrew Wilson is saying. That's wrong.
All right, Blend, I see you're requesting. You think Andrew's a net negative. So, Blend, I'll bring you up. So, in the nest, just comment in there if you think Andrew's a net negative. Request a mic. I'll bring you up. Valerie, you came back. You rage quit earlier. You're back now. So, do you want to engage with Andrew?
I didn't rage quit. I disconnected accidentally, and the host will told me that I will get co-host because I don't want to be interrupted because I have not been able to make a single point. So thank you.
Yeah, sure. I'll actually let you take my spot, right? So then we can stop the whining. You just have to. The only rule is you'll just be dropped if you talk over Andrew. So that's the only rule. So go ahead, remove me from co-host, and Valerie, you.
Okay, I think.
You have a lot of background noise on your mic.
Shit. Sorry. I can't unmute. Oh, God damn it.
Not her mic.
No, I can't unmute. And if you're telling me there's a lot of background noise, it's going to be a problem.
It's not your mic. It's not your mic.
Who is
Anyways,
it?
I'm glad that we don't have to hear Nat anymore. All right, who are we moving on to next?